The gods who shaped Talara also gave birth to its people. While the dwarves were born of Baralt the craftsman, and the elves were born of Tavril of the earth, the humans were uniquely created as a collaboration of all the gods, which may explain their dominance. The lowlanders made their home in the deserts and called themselves Eth, while the Northmen came together to form the greatest empire in history. These great seekers of justice and honor became known as the Mathosians. The humans first flourished in the high elven forest of Tavra, where the elder elves watched them with condescension. At first, the elves thought them to be equal to any other forest creature, and were taken by surprise when the human tribes began organizing and migrating out of the great forest. Some of these tribes stayed, and soon became equals in intelligence and sophistication to Tavril's children. The elves quickly made peace with their neighbors and shared their culture and knowledge of magic. The remaining humans eventually left the safety of the forest for the harsh, mountainous north, unaware of the great destiny they had in store for them. Clan Mathos was always the largest and strongest of these northern tribes, but it wasn't until the Bloodstorm ravaged all of Talara that the combined mortal races unified under its banner. These adherents of Theodore, the Sword of Righteousness and Defender of Truth, fostered peace between the ever-warring dwarves and elves, and even took under their wing the reckless and godless Eth after their collapse. This combined alliance of all the Talarans crushed the dragons and put an end to the Bloodstorm. The Mathosian Empire enveloped all of Talara, and this success was not at all unearned. The descendants of Clan Mathos were to be credited with victory in the Bloodstorm, and the continued survival of all the mortal races of Talara. Whereas the Dread Gods warred amongst themselves, the Mathosians alone fostered unity and victory. Clearly the will of Theodore was being served, proven by the continued success of the great empire in war. At the behest of their new Eth vassals, the Mathosians enacted a grand crusade to purge the deserts of the great evils the Eth themselves had summoned through their use of heretical machinery. The Eth had built these devices using holy source stone, and had turned away from the vigil when ordered to stop. Though this would forever create a schism between the lowlanders and the Northmen, the pious Mathosians overlooked this transgression, believing that the destruction of the Eth cities and the fall of their ancient empire was evidence enough that the vigil had already punished those poor, displaced people. The servants of Theodore felt it was their duty to protect the weaker peoples for the good of all of Talara. The Mathosians honored the gods of the vigil as thanks for their many blessings. For Tavril, they left the great granite-wood forest nearly pristine, taking only what they absolutely needed for construction of their cities. For Baralt, and with the help of the dwarves, they built those great cities without the aid of magic or machines. For Theodore, they persecuted and nearly eradicated the evil dragon cults who permeated the rotten fringes of mortal society. For Thontic, they conquered the seeds from the great jewel of the empire, Port Sion. And for Marielton, the heart, the Mathosians filled their day with song, joy, and good hunting. The Age of Man was a glorious one indeed, where peace, honor, and the benevolence of the vigil fostered the heights of mortal civilization. The lineage of kings from torrid Mathos onward remained entirely unbroken. However, a great darkness soon threatened to envelop Talara, one to dwarf even the Bloodstorm in terror and chaos. This shade crept over the horizon slowly, patiently, waiting for the right time to strike. Dark days were ahead for the children of Clan Mathos.